Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Now, I promised you last week that we would learn how to do a purse or a bag in the hoop. So this will be completed in your embroidery hoop, including putting in the zipper. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up my hoop, because remember, the limitation you have when you create a bag in the hoop, your hoop size is your first limitation. So depending upon your machine, which brand you have and what size hoops you have, I'm going to go over to the left-hand toolbar, and you will see I have a select hoop icon right here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to stay in Pez because right now I'm working with Brother Baby Lock. So I'm going to left mouse click on the down arrow, and I own the 200 by 200 hoop. So I'm going to use that. Now notice, when we select the hoop, I really like this in this software. The hoop may be 8 by 8, but my actual overall sewing field is 7.87 millimeters. I can't actually make it 8 by 8 because remember, you've got to have enough room where your foot goes around the edge and your foot is wider than your needle. So there is a sewing field that's always a little smaller than your hoop. But notice our software takes that into account. So I'm going to say OK, and I can see my hoop on screen. Now to create the bag, we're going to start, and we need, of course, we're going to need a top and we're going to need a bottom. So there's going to be a top front, a bottom front, and a placing for a zipper. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my grid is in inches, and I want a 1-inch grid system. So to do that, I'm going to put my cursor along my left hand, my toolbar right here. My ruler bar right here. I'm going to right mouse click for hidden treasure. I'm in inches, and I want to see what my grid settings are. Great. I have a 1 by 1 inch grid. Okay, so I know that each one of these squares is an inch. So now we need to get ready to go ahead and create our project. So I'm going to come up here, and you can see this is my artwork tool. Now this artwork tool is shapes. So you can see that I've got shapes in here. Well, I'm going to go for the rectangle. I'm going to left mouse click, and notice I have a rectangle stuck to my cursor, so that lets us know that we're working with a rectangle. I'm going to hold down my left mouse key, and I'm going to drag. Now I'm going to come to the word transform, and what we're going to do right now, this is going to be the top piece of fabric above our zipper. So this is the top front. Then we'll have a zipper and we'll have the bottom front. So with this being my top front piece, I'm going to make this 6 inches wide, and I want the fabric above the zipper to be 2 inches. I'm going to apply. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw a second rectangle. And remember, this is artwork right now. We're not working with stitches as of yet. So here is my second rectangle. I'm going to come to transform, and again this is going to be 6 inches wide, only I want this to be 4 inches. So I will apply. Now this could be a makeup bag, it could be a neck purse, you can do an iPad bag. Again, it all depends upon the size of your hoop. Well, for some reason, let's go, apply. There it is. Okay. Now with this here, I'm going to go ahead and put this. Now I know I have enough room in this hoop. I'm going to turn the hoop off now. Whoops. By simply left mouse clicking on the hoop. So now I know I've got 2 inches and 4 inches, that's 6. So here's 7 inches. So I know I have another inch worth on the outside, so we're okay to fit in our hoop. Now this is all artwork. How do I know that? Look in my sequence view. In the bottom right hand panel, it tells me, Kathi, you've got artwork and artwork. So these aren't stitches yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both pieces. Now notice I set these right on the grid line. So you notice this goes along this grid line. I've skipped an inch and set this down because a zipper is an inch wide. And this is going to show us where we're going to lay our zipper. So I'm going to select both pieces. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and use my align icon. It looks pretty well aligned, but it never hurts to check. I'm going to left mouse click on align, and I'm going to align right, left, it doesn't matter, just so I make sure that this is a straight line. Now with everything selected, I'm going to come down to my bottom left hand corner, and I'm going to left mouse click on my run. Now what this is that I've just done is this is going to stitch directly onto a piece of stabilizer. Now I'm going to hoop Floriani Wet and Gone because this will be a lined bag, and I would like the fact that that stabilizer will wash away completely. So I'm going to stitch this directly onto the Wet and Gone. So that's going to be step number 1. Then I will lay my zipper down in this 1-inch spot right here. This will give me the placement. I will leave the head of my zipper right side looking at me. I'll leave the head of my zipper off the left hand side and leave the tail off the right hand side, taping it securely in place. So if we've got that, so now the next thing we need to do is we need for that zipper to stitch right down to the stabilizer. So now we need a zipper tack down line. For that, I'm going to right mouse click on my grid system. I'm going to go to my grid settings and I'm going to say snap to grid. That's going to keep my line straight for my zipper. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to select my line. Now again, this is vector, so I'm going to select this line and I'm going to left mouse click. And you notice where it clicked. Didn't matter that I clicked down here somewhere. It jumped and stuck onto the grid. And I left it this inch wide because I wanted you to see that. So I am going to delete those 2 points. And we're going to come up here and we're going to right mouse click on our ruler. And I'm going to say grid settings. And now I'm going to make the grid at 0.25. 0.25. I want a 1/4 of an inch grid right now. Now that I've got that 1/4 of an inch grid setting up here, I'm going to go back and get my line tool again. And I'm going to come and I'm going to, with this line tool selected, I'm going to click right here. And notice it's going to snap to grid. Now what's important about this is it will be straight. So I'm going to come down and I'm simply left mouse clicking left, 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 left. Now I've left this open here deliberately because when we need to unzip our zipper, we don't want to have to snip stitches. So now that we've done those points, I will right mouse click. Let's change the color. And notice now I have a piece of pink artwork. Now this is going to stitch my zipper to the stabilizer so it can't scooch around. So I'm going to go ahead and left mouse click again on my run stitch. And now I have a run stitch holding my zipper down. So now we're going to have a top piece of fabric and a bottom piece of fabric. And what I do is if this is 2 inches wide, I'm going to cut my fabric about 5 inches. So I'm going to have it 2 inches, 2 inches plus an extra inch. So I'm going to cut my fabric 5 inches wide. I'm going to cut a piece of batting 2 inches wide and fold this in half and press it. On my bottom, I'm 6 inches wide here, but I'm 4 inches wide here, so I'm going to make it 6 inches wide by 9 inches long. I'm going to fold it in half and put a piece of batting in there and press it. So now, once I've got my zipper down, I'm going to lay that folded edge of the top right against my zipper teeth. The folded edge of the bottom front right against those zipper teeth. And I'm going to tape that securely in place. And then what are we going to do? We're going to stitch this same line again. So I'm going to right mouse click, copy, right mouse click, paste. Change your color because we want the machine to stop. So now I've laid my fabric down and it's stitched it down. Now I want to quilt this bag. I put batting in it. The reason is I want to quilt it because I want this bag to have a little protection. So now we'll take this top piece right here and I'm going to right mouse click copy, right mouse click paste, and now this new one, again change the color. I am actually going to bring this down I'm going to bring it down. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore that. I've copied it and pasted it. I'm going to grab the bottom, right mouse click copy, right mouse click paste, and of course we'll make it the same color that we made the top piece. So now we've got a top and we've got a bottom. So let's go ahead and let's just select both of these. So they're under one color here. Now what I want to do is I want to quilt it, so what I'm going to do now is instead of having this to be a run stitch like it is, I'm going to convert this. I'm going to come down and say, let's make this a stipple. So I'm going to left mouse click on stipple, and it's going to fill this with stippling. Now this stipple is a little bit tight, so I'm going to come up to the density. The density is how close those loops are together, and 2.5 millimeters is less than 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to make this about 6. Let's apply that and see if we like it. That's a good meander. That's perfect for quilting my bag front, top, and bottom. So now I've got this point. So this will stitch all my fabric to the stabilizer, to the zipper, and it'll quilt it very nicely. So with this done, my last step is I'm going to unzip my zipper to the center. We'll unzip the zipper. Then we need to put the back on. So now we need to create a back. So I'm going to come back up here to my custom shape. I'm going to get another rectangle and draw it, and I'm going to transform. Now we made the width 6 wide, correct? We're going to make this about 5.95, and the height of our whole bag is 7, so we're going to make this about 6.95. Now the reason is, when this stitches this bag together, I want it just inside all our placement lines so that none of those lines show when we turn our bag. Now with this last line, I'm going to go back and create. We've made the size, but remember we're still working with artwork here. You can see this is artwork. Let's change the color and let's go ahead and make this a run stitch. Now I don't need a single run because this is going to attach the back to the front, and then we're going to slit the stabilizer behind the zipper and zip it all the way and turn our bag through. I want this to be a bean stitch, a triple. So I want 3, and this stitch length is way too short. I'm going to make it 3.5 because I've got 4 layers of fabric and I have 2 layers of batting. So I need a much longer stitch to go through all that to look good. So with this done, I'm going to apply, and there you have it. Any size bag in the hoop, any shape. I could have made it long and skinny. For makeup, I could have done anything. So let's look at our slow redraw and make sure we're all on the same page. Now let me make this a darker color just so you can see it better. There we go. Okay, so here we go. We are going to first stitch directly onto our wet and gone, the placement line. Now once I'm there, I am going to tape my zipper right side looking at you in this opening with the zipper head off the left hand side. Now I'm going to stitch that zipper to the stabilizer. So now it can't move, it can't go anywhere, it's done. Now I'm going to lay my bag the top front, the bottom front, folded edges butting up against those zipper teeth. Once we're there, we're then going to stitch that down to the stabilizer and the zipper through the fabric, so we're all secure. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to stipple our bag. We're going to do all our quilting. Once our quilting's done, we're going to unzip the zipper to the center of the bag. We are then going to lay our back, and how our back will be is we will have right sides out. We'll have two pretty side out with a piece of batting in the middle. That way you have a back and a lining fabric. So you've got your two pretty sides out, your stabilizer, lay it down and stitch it together. Now you will come back and you will take it out of the hoop and you will slit the Wet and Gone right behind your zipper, unzip your zipper the rest of the way, trim 1/4 inch around, do the diagonals on your edges and turn your bag through. You can add a design, you could add wording, you could monogram it, you can do anything, but now you have the idea on how to create a basic in the hoop bag with a zipper. I hope you enjoyed this week's class, and I hope you have a lot of fun making all kinds of bags for the holidays. See you next week.